What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the DS Asylum. I'm your Ward of the Magician, and today we're going to be talking about equipment, but this is not a clickbait video on how to easily get Z-ranked equipment, making you think there's some easy way to get it, when in reality, they just spew a bunch of common sense at you, and their videos have absolutely no reason to exist in the first place. This video will be talking more about what you should be doing when you upgrade and apply your equipment to your characters. Specifically what I do in that scenario. So I'm gonna go over my process of upgrading equipment and my process for applying equipment, because I don't just give my character's equipment because it's strong. Every piece of equipment that I stick on my units have a purpose. So let me take him off of there real quick because I might need other characters. LF Super Saiyan 3 is a very good example of that thought process. So we've got his platinum equipment covering all these bases. Good. Then I've got this awakened equipment giving him some strike attack because he's a blast heavy unit, blast defense, and key recovery. That blast defense is important because the next piece of equipment I have on him is giving him strike defense, as well as boosting his blast attack and giving him some key recovery. I try to always make sure that my equipment is covering all bases at all times. Super Saiyan 3 is pretty easy because he's a Saiyan, he's Goku, he's green. There's a lot of good green equipment. There's a lot of good Saiyan equipment. So he's pretty easy to get through. My Saiyan team, for example, Kefla's got this rocking. We've got both attacks, both defenses because it's busted. We've got this one, the strike attack, the blast defense, and the key recovery. And then there's this one giving the strike attack, the strike defense, and the special and ultimate damage. So as you have noticed once again, she has even defenses across the board. She is a bit more strike heavy. She doesn't really have anything giving her blast attack except for this thing right here. But for Kefla specifically, I felt the need to just go all out on strike, since she changes all blast cards to strike cards when she comes in anyway. You're really not meant to use blast cards with her. We have blast on this guy right here. We give him a little bit of strike with this double defense and strike attack. On here, we've got double defense and blast attack for each Saiyan battle member. These equips are really good. There's this weird misconception that these are worse than the base blast attack or strike attack or whatever equips. This 5%, well, up to 5% for each Saiyan battle member is the equivalent of at least 10% to the base total, because when you're looking at the base total, what you're boosting is that base stat. With these, you're boosting the damage itself. So whatever number that the damage would normally do, that's what you're boosting with this equipment. So it's actually better for you to use one of these as opposed to the base ones. Now, I'm not saying those aren't good because these don't go up very high. I think the highest I've seen is like 12%, which is on this equip right here. This is like the highest I've gone up, like I've ever seen it go up to. And yes, with your average one of about, 10%, like 5 to 8%. Yes, a base total of like 25% more is going to be more, but on average, I'd say those 5 to 10% per Saiyan battle member ones are about equal to around the 15%, the 15 to 18% to base, and they're far easier to Z rank because the number itself is so much lower. So you want to try and go after those if you can. I would highly recommend this one for blast units. And then, let's see, do I have it on you? Yes, this one for strike units. It's not the best because it's not per battle member. It's just when a melee type is a battle member. But trust me, you'll see the difference between an equip like this and say an equipped like this one that gives 8% to just base strike attack. This equipment will not boost that strike attack as much as this one will, even though they're both practically the same number. So you want to try and go after these unless you have access to equipment that have, just absurdly high numbers, like 25, 30%. But that's a Saiyan team. I believe one of the ones that's interesting is my Android team. Let's go ahead and call in the Android team. Super 17 is an interesting one. So I try to keep everything super balanced. 17 is a bit different. So here's what I mean by, you should always try and see what role that your character's playing. If your character's playing a specific role, you want to give them equipment to make them better at that role. So this equipment right here is giving us both attacks, health, and blast defense. And then I've got double defense and blast attack. And then double defense and special move damage. So why am I pumping a already defensive type full of defenses? Well, I don't need him to do a lot of damage. The whole point for Super 17, for me, the way that I play, he's meant to be a wall. He's not meant to come in here and, do a butt ton of damage. He's meant to come in here, tank those hits, and it's good for him to be a wall because it allows him to survive long enough to hit that ultimate and paralyze the whole team. So making sure that your equipment matches the role that your character's trying to play. If you have a defensive type, just stack them full of defense. Like, for example, let's go ahead and say you're gonna use yellow Bardock, right? Let's just take a random defense type and we'll make it yellow Bardock. You wanna use equipment like this one, obviously, movies, double defense. You wanna do something like this, double defense, a special move damage, and then, not that one. And then something like this, a little bit of critical, blast defense, and strike attack so that he can still hit. Or you wanna use something like this, which is double defense, if you plan on running him with an extreme unit. Now, he does not have the Team Bardock tag, I don't believe. Yeah, no, he does not have Team Bardock, so you're not going to run him with the EX Bardock squad. So this equip's probably not going to be too helpful for you. You can always throw in an equip like this to give him a defense and some attacks, but you want to make sure you're pumping defense types just full of defenses so that they can be that wall. They can be that unit that may even survive a Rising Rush. So if a certain character is trying to fulfill a certain role, you definitely want to give them equipment to match that role. So what else? Maybe Goku. Actually, I already have Goku. Goku up here. What I've got on this Goku, we've got Blast Attack. We've got the melee type. Because I usually run this Goku with Super Saiyan 4. So that's why that equip is there. Why do I keep doing that? This Goku, he's got his trash ass platinum equip. The only reason I use this equipment is because of the very high amount of strike attack. If that had been blast, I genuinely wouldn't use it. Again, we've got this equipment on him. He's got a bunch of blast attack. Kid Goku, he is kind of a wall. He's mainly damage, but I wanted to pump him full of defenses because if I had him at Zenkai 7, I would be using him for his endurance. So if you have him at Zenkai 7, you want to try and build up that defense so that it takes longer to get to that endurance. So basically, you always want to be able to let your units fulfill a certain role. If they have a certain role you want them to fill, that's what you do. And when you look through your equipment and you're trying to decide what should I use, something like this, I have an S rank of this equipment, and it is blast attack, critical, and strike defense. I will not put this on Golden Frieza because he already has overwhelming blast attack. I would likely put this equip on someone like Purple Cooler. Purple Cooler already has overwhelming defenses and overwhelming strike attack, but his blast is a little lacking. So you want to put at least a blast attack equip on him because Purple Cooler isn't a unit that's so hard for one thing. He does boost strike a lot with his green cards and everything, so you don't need to focus your equipment on the strike. You can throw in 1 or 2 blasts as well. And say something like this, if your character is fulfilling maybe a critical role, you want to put this on Bunny Bulma, right? Or you want to put this on a unit that's run with Bunny Bulma, since once Bunny Bulma activates her main ability, everyone gets increased criticals. you want to try and run them with that. This equip right here, if you got a red unit and you want to slap them with regen, or regen, GT, not regen. If you want to slap them with GT, there you go. This one is really good and really easy to Z rank, and up to 7% to strike and blast damage per Frieza Force member. Up to 14% to just the damage itself per Frieza Force member. You really want to go after that if you like using EX Ginyu Force. So basically, what this whole video is trying to say, when you look through your equipment, when you're trying to decide what equipment should I use, oh my, you've got to look at the unit. What are they good at? If they're just there, give them even stats across the board. Try and give them what they're good at and what they're bad at. Try and make sure that all of their equipment gives them even defenses, and try and make sure there's at least one equip that very much highlights their weak points, like with LF Super Saiyan 3. I have an equip that highlights the strike attack. If there are units whose main purpose is for one type of attack like Kefla, you just want to pump them full of defenses and strike attack, that's fine. And then when you've got defense types that you specifically want to be walls, you pump them full of defense and get on with your life there. I put a lot of thought, obviously, into my equipment, into what I use for what characters in what situations. I can promise you right now, every single time I put a character on a team, the equipment is likely to be different than it was for the last team they were on. Because there's always a certain role that a character is going to try and play, and you want your equipment to reflect that. So I know I was kind of all over the place. I didn't have a script for this video, mainly because it's already 2 o'clock in the morning. I want to go to bed. I still have to edit this, upload it, make the thumbnail. There's still a lot more I have to do tonight before I'm allowed to go to bed. So I'm sorry if I was kind of all over the place. Do let me know if you didn't understand anything in the comments below. I'd be happy to explain it to you. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video and it wasn't just a piece of clickbait like, you know, most equipment videos, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see all of you inmates back here at the asylum for the next video. Peace.